My name is Jenna Maniscalco,
And my name is Sarah Golden.
and our special presentation topic is on teen pregnancy. The National Campaign to Prevent Teen and Unplanned Pregnancy reported that the United States has one of the highest rates of teen pregnancy and births in the world. It was reported in research that teen parenthood has detrimental consequences on the teen's educational and economic future. With that being said, teen mothers are more likely to drop out of school, live in poverty, and rely on welfare assistance. These teens are more likely to earn a lower income, experience health issues, and see their generational teen pregnancies and economic deficiencies among their children. It is vital to provide appropriate services, including parenting education for pregnant teens and their families, and support to ensure success in all aspects. In addition, it is vital for school districts to provide these services to allow teen moms the same educational rights as other students. As school social workers, it is important to have a positive relationship with pregnant students and a knowledge based on community and school supports in their local area. The role of a school social worker is to provide assistance to the pregnant teen in educational and personal choices without projecting personal opinions about the situation. The goal is to empower the teenager to make sure they feel supported and equal to the other students in their school.
We decided to choose this topic due to our background in child welfare. This topic sparked our interest because it is a topic that is often uncomfortable and awkward. It is a prevalent topic that is seen in every school district and even broadcasted on a popular TV show called Teen Mom. Although it is awkward, it can happen to any teenage girl from any socioeconomic background, and as a school social worker, it is important to understand the school guidelines and policies before addressing it with a student.
Take a look at the table provided in front of you. The table demonstrates teen pregnancies in the United States starting in 1990 up until 2014. You will see that the yellow line represents the Caucasian population, the blue line represents the African American population, and the purple line represents the Hispanic population. It is apparent from the table that the amount of teen pregnancies was much higher in the 1990s, and it has slowly declined over the years. While you look at this table, you will see the Caucasian population continues to have the lowest percent of teen pregnancies, while the Hispanic population has the highest amount of teen pregnancies.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has an Office of Adolescent Health that focuses on the social issue of teen pregnancy. Through the research of this government website, we are able to conclude the following statistics. Teen pregnancies fluctuate significantly by age, racial, and ethnic group and region of the country. Most female teenagers who go into labor are 18 or older. In 2014, 73% of all teen births occurred to 18 to 19-year-olds. In 2014, Hispanic adolescent females ages 15 to 19 had the highest birth rate, followed by Black adolescent females and white adolescent females. 73% of all teen births occurred to 18 and 19-year-olds. Higher birth rates among Hispanic and African American populations. In 2010, the majority of pregnancies to adolescent females, 60% ended in live birth, 15% ended in miscarriage, and 30% ended in abortion. 77% of teen pregnancies are unplanned.
This table is very interesting. If you look at it, you will be able to compare and identify teenagers between the ages of 15 years old and 19 years old and their birth rates among the 50 states in the USA. This information was gathered in 2014. The blue states represent 30 to 39.9%, the green 20 to 29%, and the white less than 20% of birth rates. Notice how the highest birth rates are among the southern states and the lowest are among the northeast region of the country.
For the analysis portion of our topic, we decided to focus on 3 theories that we will soon go into further detail on. These 3 theories are crisis theory, cognitive behavioral therapy, and solution-focused therapy. The educational laws that apply to teen pregnancy topic are Title IX, and Pennsylvania Department of Health has a section of laws regarding school, health, and teen pregnancy.
According to the School Social Work, a direct practice guidebook, cognitive behavioral therapy is defined as a broad class of present-focused intervention with a shared focus on changing cognition, thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions about the world, changing behavior, and building clients' coping skills. The 6 stages of this intervention for teens are assessment, treatment-connected assessment, treatment plan, school consultation, termination, and follow-up. The assessment portion includes the diagnosis, treatment, and establishment of a plan for the student. The treatment plan includes preparing for change by introducing new skills through training and establishing a relationship with the student's microsystem. Consultation is a meeting with the teacher, counselor, and any other educational supports to monitor the student's progress throughout the plan. This would also be a part where the school social worker would play into. Termination is when the student will review the progress made and establishes an aftercare plan to maintain the skills learned throughout the process. Follow-up, after a specific amount of time, assessment of the current status, and develop an intervention plan if needed.
The crisis theory is used with individuals, families, groups, and communities. The theory focuses on the idea that every individual or group is subject to environmental stressors that cause a change in their equilibrium. There are several stages with this strategy that highlight the person's ability to cope with stress without learned skills. If the person is unsuccessful with dealing with the stress on their own, emergency status develops and ongoing stressors create pressure. If the stressor continues, it may initiate the state of crisis. The intensity of the crisis can produce new energy and problem-solving skills. The theory focuses on the positive development and strengthens the ego as well as additional coping skills to assist with confidence levels to overcome future stressors in the future. The second theory we focused on is the solution-focused therapy. The solution of the student's problem is the focus of this therapy rather than what brought them to therapy. Solutions are found rather than solving the problem. The student is asked how they would like things to be different and how they would like to go about achieving a specific goal. The school social worker can ask the following questions. The miracle question, example, what does it look like to have an ideal life? A scaling question, example, the student can rate the change on a 10-point scale. A coping question, example, how has the student dealt with the problem thus far? The school social worker also can ask if change is happening and what steps the student has completed to generate the change. In addition, the student can determine what it would take to have the change remain. The school social worker can observe the situation until the client can confidently manage the change on their own. Lastly is the consultation phase, where the school social worker leaves for a few minutes and returns with a message for the student. The school social worker must begin by emphasizing the student's strengths and ends with a homework assignment. The homework assignment should highlight ongoing change and have subject matter that was brought up by the student in a miracle question.
Pregnant students and students who are parents face obstacles with obtaining appropriate services and educational support from their school. The Title IX of Education Amendments of 1972 is a legal guideline that provides security and protection for pregnant students and teen parents. With regards to this legal document, it is unlawful to discriminate against a student who is pregnant or has the possibility of being pregnant. Title IX states that discrimination is covered among those who are pregnant, given birth, lying about a pregnancy, or aborting their unborn child. Schools are receiving federal funding, schools who are receiving federal funding must uphold Title IX regulations regardless if the school is private or public. As school social workers, it is utterly important for administration, staff personnel, and teachers to be aware of Title IX and to uphold its policies and procedures. As school social workers, it would be beneficial to hold trainings and information sessions regarding this and offer assistance for further clarification if need be. Schools can be put in a troublesome situation if they are found not to be in compliance with Title IX. It is reported in researches that some schools try to convince teen parents and pregnant teens to seek alternative educational environments. This is illegal and a violation of the Title IX because the goal of Title IX is to have equal educational rights and accommodations for students, including parents and pregnant students. In June 2013, the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights published a pamphlet for educational agencies titled Supporting the Academic Success of Pregnant and Parenting Students under Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. The pamphlet introduces and explains the accommodations that need to be provided for this certain population. The goal is to educate, support, and inspire parents and pregnant students to remain in the educational system and receive their diploma. The federal law has rights for pregnant teenagers and parents. It is important that the families involved and the students who are affected by this law recognize their rights and have support from the school in which they are enrolled in. The following information was taken from Title IX, which describes the rights that pregnant and parenting students are entitled but not limited to. Pregnant students or students that are parents have the right to participate in all school programs and extracurricular activities. This means that pregnant and parenting students can still participate in advanced placement and honors classes, social clubs, sports, honor society, student leadership opportunities, and other activities like after-school programs operated at school. They also have the right to attend a separate program or school for pregnant and parenting students so long as their decision is to attend was completely voluntary. The school cannot pressure pregnant and parenting students to attend an alternative program. The alternative program must provide the same types of academic, extracurricular, and enrichment opportunities as the student's school's regular program does. They have the right to receive excused absences for any medical reasons related to their pregnancy or childbirth for as long as their physician says it's necessary. They receive special services that are also provided for temporarily disabled students. This includes homebound instruction, at-home tutoring, or independent studying. They have the right to be provided with reasonable accommodations, such as a larger desk, elevator risk, and more frequent bathroom privilege due to their pregnancy. To be protected from harassment based on their pregnancy or status as a parenting student is also their right. Pregnant and parenting students and their families should meet with the school counselor and/or the Title IX coordinator. Each school, by law, is required to designate one employee at the school or in the school district as the Title IX coordinator who ensures school district compliance with the Title IX requirements. It is their job to develop a plan that allows the student to continue their education. A pregnancy should not hinder a young person's ability to receive an education. Again, school social workers should have this law available for students who are pregnant, possibly pregnant, or have just had a child. It is important that families are also involved with the rights of the student and the schools involved and on board with the regulations that must be followed. It has been said through research that schools are often uneducated on this policy and therefore are not providing teens with the full options that they should be receiving.
Below are resources providing the Pennsylvania Department of Health to assist schools in developing policies and protocols related to confidentiality and pregnant students. The PA Code 22, Chapter 12, Confidential Communications states the use of a student's confidential communications to a school personnel is legal in legal proceedings is governed by statuses and regulations appropriate to the proceeding. The information received in confidence from a student may be revealed to the student's parents or guardians, the principal, or other appropriate authority when the health, welfare, or safety of the student or other persons is clearly in jeopardy. This is the primary reference for confidential communications related to pregnancy. Some schools and school nurses feel that all teen pregnancies are high risk and have their policies written that parents will be notified in all cases. Other policies only tell parents when there are complications such as high blood pressure or suspected tubular pregnancy. The school also has to take into account that the Minors Consent Act, which is outlined below for the Juvenile Law Center. Any minor who has been pregnant is given the authority to authorize her own health care without parental consent, except for abortions. The consent to treatment and confidentiality provisions affecting minors in Pennsylvania, the Juvenile Law Center of 2006, states that Pennsylvania law also allows minors, which are defined for purposes of this manual as persons under the age of 18, to consent to a wide variety of medical testing and treatment and healthcare services. In these cases, the consent of the minor's parent or guardian is not needed. Under the Minors Consent Act, a minor who has graduated from high school, has been pregnant, or has married can contest to medical, dental, and health services for himself or herself. It is important to note that the Minors Consent Act allows any minor who has been pregnant to authorize her own health care. The statute does not require that the minor have actually given birth. If a minor fits into one of these categories, parental consent is not required. Because medical, dental, and health services are not further defined by the Minors Consent Act, minors who meet the above criteria can consent to all such services unless otherwise prohibited by state law. The Minors Consent Act also allows any minor to consent to testing and treatment for what are known as reportable diseases under the Disease Prevention and Control Law of 1955. Reportable diseases are defined in the Disease Prevention and Control Law of 1955 as those communicable and non-communicable disease declared reportable either by state regulation or by state Secretary of Health. In regards to reproductive health, birth control, pregnancy testing, and prenatal care states that minors can obtain contraception, birth control, without parental consent or involvement. Under the Minors Consent Act, any minor can consent to testing for pregnancy and medical and health services. Services to treat pregnancy, including prenatal care, It is important for school social workers to be aware of the previous mentioned laws in order to educate students that are pregnant or about to be pregnant. The book, School Social Work, A Direct Practice Guide, describes evidence-based interventions as questioning, searching, analyzing, and applying and evaluating. Questioning is selecting a social problem that the social worker wishes to explore. Searching is finding applicable resources to answer the question, and record of the information should be organized and detailed. Analyzing is evaluating, recognizing the parts, and synthesizing the information to attain evidence to support your findings. And lastly, applying and evaluating is when the social worker will share the findings to the client and identify the needs of the solution. The client also should be the center of the treatment plan. The U.S. Department of Human Services has a website that has listed evidence-based intervention practices across the United States. We will be discussing 3 programs: Teen Outreach Program, Families Talking Together, and Be Proud, Be Responsible, Be Protective. The first program is the Teen Outreach Program. This program promotes the positive development of adolescents through curriculum-guided interactive group discussions, positive adult guidance and support, and community service learning. It also focuses on key topics related to adolescent health development, including healthy relationships, communication, influence, goal setting, decision making, values clarification, community service learning, and adolescent development and sexuality. The development of supportive relationships with adult facilitators is a crucial part of the model, as are relationships with other peers in the program. The program was designed for and tested for disadvantaged and high-risk youths in grades 9 to 12. This program can be held in a school or classroom-based, after-school, and community-based organizations.
Families Talking Together is a parent-based intervention to prevent and/or decrease sexual risk behavior among Latino and African American adolescents between ages 10 and 14 years old. This is a program to help parents talk to their children about sexual behaviors. The goal of this intervention is to have interventionists help parents with children who are exhibiting sexual behaviors or to prevent them. There are open discussions with parents and family workbooks that are intended to assist parents with effective communication skills to strengthen relationships between those parents and their children. This program is also intended to help parents develop positive monitoring strategies and teach adolescents confidence and refusal skills. The program can be conveyed to parents individually or in small group sessions in a variety of settings, such as after school, health clinics, or in a family home-based setting.
Our third and final evidence-based intervention that will be discussed is Be Proud, Be Responsible, Be Protective. This program aims to reduce unprotected sex among sexually active, pregnant, and parenting teens by affecting knowledge, beliefs, and interventions related to condom use and sexual behaviors. It also addresses the impact of HIV and AIDS on pregnant women and their children, the prevention of this disease during the pregnancy and the postpartum period, as well as special concerns of young mothers. This program consists of 8 60-minute modules focusing on behavioral attitudes, expectations, negotiation, and problem-solving skills, self-efficiency, and feelings of maternal protectiveness. This program was designed for pregnant and parenting teens in grades 7 through 12. There is a focus as well as on the African American and Latino youth. This program can be held in school and classroom-based high school and middle school. These programs can all be found in detail on the U.S. Department of Health website, which will be listed on our reference page.
There are many positive impacts on these interventions for pregnant students and or parents who are students. The positive impact on these interventions have on the students themselves are very beneficial. Through these interventions that were previously mentioned, adolescents who are pregnant or exhibiting risky sexual behavior, they will have some behavior changes by learning skills to address and diminish sexual behaviors. Students will be educated by understanding the consequences and risks of pregnancy at a young age. These interventions also provide independent living skills for students so they are able to be successful parents. The interventions also provide the students with parental and community support so the students who are pregnant or recently parents do not feel isolated. The impact that these interventions have on families are also positive. These interventions provide parents with education on their child being pregnant or a new mother. It provides coping skills with the lifestyle change. It also helps parents strengthen relationships between themselves and their children. The community is affected greatly by these interventions. It offers education to those who are related to teen pregnancy and tools for students who are pregnant or newly parents have access to services that can assist them physically and emotionally. As a society, these interventions are meant to decrease teenage pregnancies, provide more education on everything involved in teenage pregnancy, and to lower the prevalence of STDs and HIV within our communities.
The evidence-based interventions that were previously discussed provide a range of necessary tools for pregnant and parenting teens. However, we have found obstacles in applying these interventions in PA schools. The obstacles that we have determined are funding from the county, state, and federal level. Obviously, an emphasis on the fact that there is not currently a state budget. Participation from students, families, teachers, administrators, as well as community supports. Political impact from the county, state, and federal level. Stigma as a subject matter of teen pregnancy is uncomfortable to speak about, as well as others projecting their personal beliefs about the subject matter. The Title IX law, administration support, lack of resources, as well as community support.
Throughout this project, there are many things that we have learned about teen pregnancy. We found that the Title IX law was something we were not fully aware of. It is interesting that there is research stating that schools often try to push pregnant students and/or students who are parents to seek alternative education. With Title IX, we have learned that that is illegal. A student should not be persuaded how they should finish their education if they are pregnant. We also learned that the student would be excused for any absence relating to a pregnancy, and if they chose to have an alternative education, it must be voluntary. We have found that schools are expected to provide these rights to the students and their families. It is important as school social workers to uphold this policy and offer support to the student and their family. We also learned a lot about the programs available for teenagers who are pregnant or just exhibit risky sexual behavior. Not only are the programs intended for the students, it was enlightening to find programs available for parents who are dealing with their child and teen pregnancy. Although we are now more aware of these programs, our next findings would be how accessible and available are these programs for teenagers and their families. We found that it was challenging to find statistics in our area regarding teen pregnancy. We also found there to be little information regarding the school social worker in teen pregnancy. Although it is evident that the school social worker should be supportive of the student and refer them to appropriate resources, we would like to have more information of the social worker's direct role in this situation. We have found it very important as school social workers to be aware of this issue, as it can happen in any school district, and it's important to be able to provide the best practice for a student and a family going through a teen pregnancy.